Hi, my name is Julio Rivera. I'm an activist, journalist, adventurer, veteran, television presenter, and businessman. I've covered many of the major historical events going on around the world over the past several years, and after watching regime changes, conflict, and historic elections globally, I've come to the conclusion that the most underreported crisis in the world today can be defined in only one word: malware. That's why I've decided to dedicate my time to educating people everywhere and exposing the dangers that exist on the devices that we've become tethered to and depend on for so many reasons in our day-to-day life. Welcome to This Week in Malware. On This Week in Malware, we'll be covering AdForYourNews.com is associated with Adware, browser hijackers, and PUPs. OOPU Ransomware is another variant from the Djvu Ransomware family, and leftover CLSID Registry keys are a common PC issue due to improper uninstallation of apps. AdForYourNews.com is a website associated with Adware, browser hijackers, and potentially unwanted programs, also known as PUPs. Potentially unwanted programs, Adware, and browser hijackers are generally distributed via bundled software. If you open spam email attachments or download and install freeware or bundled software from unreliable third-party sources like peer-to-peer websites, it may lead to Adware, browser hijackers, or other unrelated PUPs being installed on your system. When these PUPs are installed, they often modify key browser settings that can result in unwanted redirects to sponsored pages that usually belong to dubious search engines. It is how the PUP creators generate revenue, which is the very reason they create those programs. Another trait associated with such unwanted programs includes an additional flood of annoying sponsored ads. What exactly is displayed in the sponsored page or advertisement can be influenced by the user's IP address and geolocation and their browsing and search history, because unwanted programs happen to collect such data. AdForYourNews.com also uses a popular proliferation scheme that shows messages telling users to press the allow button. This method is increasingly used by untrustworthy sites to trick users into enabling their push notifications. Another variation of this scheme leads users to believe that by pressing allow, they will be granted access to view a particular video, or that they will be able to download an unspecified file. After AdForYourNews.com gets the browser permissions associated with the push notification feature, it uses them to deliver a flood of unwanted advertisements to users' devices. Adware, browser hijackers, and PUPs can also perform a number of browser setting modifications, resulting in unwanted redirects to sponsored pages that are generated based on the user's browsing activities. As mentioned before, this happens because the information, including browsing history and click URLs, may be continuously logged by unwanted software. Other information, including IP address, browser type, device type, OS version, and geolocation, is likely collected as well to display targeted advertisements, giving a bigger chance of user interaction, thus increasing advertising revenue. How do I remove adware, browser hijackers, and PUPs from my computer? If you find that you have unwittingly downloaded and installed adware, browser hijackers, or a PUP, we strongly recommend removing it. You should also regularly scan for and remove unwanted software from your computer by using a reputable malware remediation tool. To prevent the installation of adware, browser hijackers, and PUPs in the future, you should practice safe web surfing habits like avoiding questionable freeware sites, torrent pages, and other websites that may host unreliable software. OOPU Ransomware is an infection that has joined the prolific Djvu Ransomware family. Like its predecessors, it locks files and demands a ransom fee to restore a user's file access. OOPU ransomware spreads similarly to many other ransomware variants. It can be distributed via software bundles, spam email attachments, malware-laced websites, and peer-to-peer websites with illegal content. If you periodically install applications from misleading and/or potentially unreliable third-party sites, you may unknowingly install ransomware like OOPU Ransomware on your computer. OOPU Ransomware encrypts multiple file types, including photos, music, documents, and videos. OOPU Ransomware received its name from the telltale.oopu extension that it appends to encrypted files. After file encryption, it also leaves a ransom note named readme.txt on the user's desktop and in every folder containing affected files. The ransom note promises a decryption key for $980, but the ransomware's operators will offer a 50% discount and only charge $490 if the victim contacts them within the first 72 hours after infection. Although the hackers provide contact information and can be contacted at support@bestyourmail.ch and data restore help@airmail.cc, we strongly discourage establishing contact with them, as there is really no guarantee that they will provide decryption tools after payment or even communicate with you. Unfortunately, no free decryption tool for OOPU ransomware victims is available at the moment. The best way to get the encrypted files back is to restore them from a backup. If you do not have a backup, you can search the web for a dependable data recovery service, but there's no guarantee that alternative data recovery tools would restore all of the encrypted files. How do I deal with the OOPU ransomware attack? To protect yourself from an OOPU ransomware attack, you should have a reputable malware remediation tool installed on your computer. That way, you can constantly scan for and remove objects associated with this troublesome ransomware infection, as well as other malware. To mitigate the potential damage to your files, do not forget to back them up on an external hard drive or virtual cloud storage. CLSID, also known as Class Identifier, is a string of alphanumeric symbols used to represent a specific instance of a component object model or COM-based program. It allows operating systems and software, particularly the ones designed for the Windows operating system, to detect and access software components without identifying them by their names. Although Microsoft has started phasing out usage of COM in favor of the .NET infrastructure, COM is still an important component in many popular programs with no immediate plans for discontinuation. Some examples where COM and CLSID are used include ActiveX, the My Computer directory, and the Windows Start menu. A typical CLSID in your Windows registry may look like this string. You may encounter a CLSID when a website asks you to update ActiveX or some other program. Your browser will detect the software version by checking its CLSID and will then send this information to the site without compromising your computer. Should you encounter a corrupted CLSID, your system may experience problems related to the specific program the CLSID belongs to. This can include a damaged CLSID that may prevent a particular program from verifying its version and then updating itself. A simple remedy for this instance is to uninstall and reinstall related software. But the most common issue associated with a registry CLSID entry is when a program fails to delete its CLSID from the computer's registry when it's uninstalled. This is a poor programming practice that can clutter your computer's registry with meaningless text entries. However, an idle CLSID entry isn't likely to harm your computer. If your computer is experiencing performance issues related to multiple unused CLSID entries, or it is operating with low system resources, you may leverage one of the many registry cleaners or other system maintenance programs that specialize in removing this CLSID-based junk. How do I remove unwanted or malware-related CLSID entries? Unfortunately, CLSID entries can also be used to run harmful programs, including rootkits, Trojans, malicious browser helper objects, and other types of malware. In those cases, the CLSID system launches automatically when certain conditions are triggered. Most reputable malware remediation programs can detect and delete malicious CLSID entries along with the malicious programs associated with them. However, like other common CLSID entries, leftover CLSID entries related to already removed malware programs cannot cause damage to your computer. In any event, you should regularly scan for and remove unwanted CLSID entries using malware remediation software. You know, as I think about the dangers that exist online, not unlike the subjects we learned about in this video, I know I feel a lot better having an anti-malware program like Spy Hunter installed in my PC, providing me the protection I need against malware, and I think you should too. Spy Hunter 5's strongest features are found in its malware repair capabilities. Spy Hunter 5's remediation algorithms dive deep into your system to remove and address complex malware issues affecting PCs today. While many anti-malware products only flag and quarantine malware and ultimately fail to fully remediate the root problem, the Spy Hunter 5 remediation algorithm detects, quarantines, and programmatically repairs malware problems on your PC. Spy Hunter 5 is a powerful PC utility that repairs malware threats in many cases where other competing anti-malware and antivirus programs may fail. To detect and remove malware for free, go to enigmasoftware.com and download Spy Hunter today. Thanks for watching.